The air in the grand hall of Eldoria was thick with the scent of polished oak and unspoken tension. Princess Lyra, heiress to the sun-kissed kingdom of Eldoria, stood rigid beside her father, King Theron. Her eyes, the color of twilight, scanned the arriving delegation from the Frostlands, a kingdom known for its impenetrable mountains and even more impenetrable rulers. Then she saw her. Princess Isolde of the Frostlands, a vision in deep sapphire velvet, her silver hair braided with intricate ice-like ornaments. Isolde's eyes, a startling glacial blue, met Lyra's across the vast hall. There was no warmth, only a cool, assessing gaze that made Lyra shiver despite the Eldorian heat. Princess Isolde, King Theron boomed, breaking the silence. Welcome to Eldoria. We are honored by your presence for this auspicious occasion. Isolde offered a curt, almost imperceptible nod. King Theron. The honor, I assure you, is entirely mutual. My father, King Borin, sends his regards and his fervent hope for a lasting peace between our realms. Her voice was low, like the rustle of winter leaves. Lyra felt a prickle of annoyance. Peace through forced union, she muttered under her breath, just loud enough for Isolde to catch. Isolde's gaze sharpened. A union that benefits both our peoples, Princess Lyra. Or so I am told. And you believe it? Lyra challenged, stepping slightly forward. That a marriage, devoid of anything but political gain, will truly bring lasting peace? Isolde's lips, a pale rose, curved into a faint, almost mocking smile. Belief is a luxury, princess. Necessity is the only truth in matters of state. King Theron cleared his throat, a warning rumble. Lyra, Isolde, let us leave such weighty discussions for the council. For now, let us celebrate your arrival. But the seed of their first, sharp exchange had been planted. Days turned into weeks. The political negotiations were arduous, but the personal ones were even more so. Lyra and Isolde were expected to spend time together, to foster a facade of affection. It was excruciating. One afternoon, Lyra found Isolde in the royal library, a place Lyra considered her sanctuary. Isolde was tracing the spines of ancient Eldorian texts, her expression unreadable. Lost? Lyra asked, leaning against a towering bookshelf. Isolde turned, her movements fluid. Hardly. Merely observing. Your kingdom's history is far more vibrant than the Frostlands, filled with tales of sun gods and bountiful harvests. Ours are of survival against the ice, of enduring. We have our own struggles, Lyra countered. Droughts, raids, and now, this alliance. Isolde sighed, a soft sound. You resent it deeply, don't you? Wouldn't you? Lyra pushed off the shelf, walking closer. To be a pawn in a game of thrones, stripped of choice? Isolde looked away, her gaze fixed on a dusty tome. Choice is a myth for those born to the crown, princess. We are born into duty. Our lives are not our own. But what if duty conflicts with who you are? Lyra pressed, a vulnerability she hadn't intended creeping into her voice. Isolde finally met her gaze, and for the first time, Lyra saw something beyond the ice, a flicker of shared burden. Then you learn to survive it, Isolde said, her voice softer now. Or you break. Lyra found herself sitting beside Isolde on a plush rug, surrounded by books. They talked for hours that day, not about politics, but about their childhoods, their dreams before the crown became a tangible weight, the loneliness of their positions. Lyra learned Isolde loved to sketch the stark beauty of her homeland, and Isolde discovered Lyra's secret passion for astronomy. You see constellations even in the daytime, don't you? Isolde mused, a rare, genuine smile gracing her lips as Lyra described the patterns she imagined in the library ceiling. Lyra smiled back, a warmth spreading through her chest. And you see the intricate patterns of frost in every windowpane. The formal announcement of their betrothal was set for the midsummer festival. The pressure mounted, but something had shifted between them. Their stolen moments in the library, in the quiet corners of the gardens, became the only times they truly felt themselves. One evening, Lyra led Isolde to a hidden balcony overlooking the Eldorian capital, bathed in the soft glow of 1,000 lanterns. "It's beautiful," Isolde whispered, her eyes wide with a wonder Lyra hadn't seen before. "It is," Lyra agreed, her gaze lingering on Isolde's profile. "But it's not the Frostlands." Isolde chuckled softly. "No. It's warm. And vibrant. I confess, I always imagined Eldoria to be a land of endless, blinding sun, devoid of shadow. And I imagined the Frostlands to be a barren wasteland, cold and unforgiving." Lyra reached out, her fingers brushing Isolde's. A jolt, like static electricity, passed between them. Isolde didn't pull away. Her glacial eyes locked with Lyra's. "Perhaps we were both wrong about many things." "Perhaps," Lyra breathed, her heart thrumming. "Isolde, this marriage, it's supposed to be for our kingdoms. But what if it could be for us too?" Isolde's hand tightened around Lyra's. "Are you suggesting love, Princess Lyra? In this political charade?" "I don't know what I'm suggesting," Lyra confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "Only that, being with you, these past weeks, it's been different. Better. And the thought of marrying someone else, now, it feels wrong." Isolde's expression softened, a rare tenderness in her eyes. "Lyra," she began, her voice husky. "I, too, have found an unexpected warmth in your company. A solace I did not know I needed." She leaned in, her breath ghosting over Lyra's lips. "Perhaps, necessity can sometimes lead to unexpected blessings." Their lips met under the Eldorian stars, a soft, hesitant kiss that promised more than political alliance. It was a secret, fragile and precious, shared between two princesses bound by duty, now bound by something far deeper. Their secret, however, was not destined to remain so. A disgruntled courtier, loyal to a rival faction, witnessed a tender moment between them. Whispers turned to rumors, and rumors to accusations. King Theron summoned Lyra, his face etched with fury. "Is this true, Lyra? These scandalous rumors about you and Princess Isolde?" Lyra stood tall, her gaze unwavering. "Father, Isolde and I, we have found a connection, yes. A genuine one." "Genuine," he roared. "This is an abomination. A perversion. It jeopardizes the entire alliance. The Frostlands will never accept this. They demand a male heir." At the same time, Isolde faced a similar interrogation from her own delegation. "Princess, your conduct is unacceptable. This unnatural affection for the Eldorian princess will shatter the treaty. You are to marry Prince Kael of the Western Marches, as per the original agreement." Isolde's voice was calm, though her eyes blazed. "The original agreement was for a union between our kingdoms. Lyra and I are that union. A stronger one, I believe, forged not just by parchment, but by understanding." "Understanding will not produce an heir," her chief advisor spat. "Perhaps," Isolde replied, her voice laced with steel, "but it will produce peace built on respect, not coercion. And perhaps, it will produce a future where the crown is worn by those who truly care for their people and for each other." The two kingdoms were on the brink of diplomatic collapse. The scandal threatened to ignite a war more devastating than any alliance could prevent. Lyra and Isolde were confined to their separate quarters, forbidden from seeing each other. But their resolve had hardened. They had found each other in the most unlikely of circumstances, and they would not be torn apart. On the day the treaty was to be officially dissolved, Lyra, dressed in her finest Eldorian silks, walked into the grand hall. Isolde, equally resplendent in Frostland silver, entered from the opposite side. Their eyes met, a silent promise passing between them. King Theron and King Borin stood on a raised dais, their faces grim. "This alliance is null and void," King Borin declared, his voice booming. "Princess Isolde's indiscretion has rendered it so." "Wait." Lyra's voice rang out, clear and strong. She walked to the center of the hall, Isolde mirroring her movements. They stood side by side, facing their fathers. The alliance is not null, Lyra stated, her voice unwavering. It is merely evolving. For too long, our kingdoms have been ruled by fear and tradition. By the idea that strength lies only in brute force or in the continuation of a single bloodline. Isolde stepped forward, taking Lyra's hand, their fingers intertwining openly for all to see. We offer a new path, Isolde said, her gaze sweeping across the stunned faces of the courtiers. A path where two crowns, two peoples, two hearts, can unite not out of obligation, but out of genuine respect and shared vision. We may not produce a traditional heir, Lyra continued, but we will produce a lineage of peace, built on understanding and cooperation. We will adopt heirs from both our kingdoms, raising them together, teaching them the values of both sun and ice. King Theron looked at Lyra, then at Isolde, a flicker of something akin to pride, or perhaps just bewildered resignation, in his eyes. King Boren, ever stoic, merely watched his daughter, a hint of something unreadable in his gaze. The silence in the hall was deafening. Then, slowly, a few murmurs began. Not of outrage, but of contemplation. The people, tired of endless conflict, saw a glimmer of hope in this unconventional union. It was a long, arduous battle. It took months of negotiation, of defying ancient customs, of winning over skeptical advisors. But Lyra and Isolde, together, were a force. Their love, once a secret whisper, had become a roar, inspiring a new vision for their kingdoms. Years later, Queen Lyra of Eldoria and Queen Isolde of the Frostlands ruled side by side, their crowns intertwined with roses and ice, symbols of their unique and powerful union. Their adopted children, a boy from Eldoria and a girl from the Frostlands, played together in the sun-drenched gardens, learning from both their mothers that true strength lay not in tradition, but in the courage to forge one's own path, and in the enduring power of love. Remember this, Lyra would tell their children, holding Isolde's hand. The greatest alliances are not just written on paper, but forged in the heart. And Isolde would add, her eyes twinkling, and sometimes, the coldest winters hide the most beautiful blooms.
Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.